going on, everyone? Gilman with Live Wealthy Stocks back with another Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, some key support and resistance levels looking out for moving into the future, and based on that where we think the stock could go. You guys have killed it with the support lately, the likes and subscribes and the comments of you guys saying that the videos help you out, and that's honestly one of the best things that I could hear. I'm someone who's learning every day, whether it's catching a different pattern or trying to figure out what's happening before it happens, and I'm sharing that with you guys, and so to hear that it's helped some of you guys really makes my day. So thank you for that, and thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel. I really like chatting with each of you guys every single day and kind of hearing about your trade plans and sharing some of mine. So thank you guys for doing that. Now, wasting no more time, let me get right into the video. So I'll hit record and we can kind of start there. So let's take a look at Apple. It was a pretty slow day for Apple overall, and we were down 14 cents for the day, which is 0.11%. Another 14 cents after hours, which is another 0.11%. So pretty sideways day for Apple. Comparing that to the NASDAQ, we were up only 0.23%. The Dow, we were up about 88 points, which is 0.29%, and then S&P, we were down 10 cents, which is 0.03%. Now, one thing you'll see is, in the NASDAQ, the Dow here, and then also the S&P here, is the fact that, we were doing decently for the day, and then we saw this fall, and that fall happened because Pfizer said that they are not going to be able to kind of get those 100 million vaccines delivered that they had initially planned to get delivered, and instead they were only going to be able to do half of that, which is about 50 million doses, because of some issues with their raw materials. So that caused the market to tank a little bit. As you can see, SPY went from 368 to 365, tried to push out VWAP and then couldn't and closed. Similarly with Apple, we saw a little bit of a sell-off. We were in the 123s, went down to 122.50, and then pushed up, but really couldn't make it above the VWAP. So pushed VWAP, closed. So let's take a look at the daily and what happened. So right out the gate, we pushed up 123.78. As we'll see in a little bit, we made a new high, which is great, right? That's something that we were looking to do. But after that, it was a totally different story. We were under VWAP, hitting up against it a couple times, made it up here, but then came right back down below VWAP, tried to make it up again, couldn't, and then that's when the stock sold off from the 123s to 122, which is about $1. Not huge, but it's a little bit of a movement. And then from this low, came right back up above VWAP, below VWAP, and then we were hitting up against VWAP, but didn't have the momentum to really get there. And then finally we do get there, in the last couple hours of the day we get there, and then kind of in that last hour of the day we saw that Pfizer news hit, which took us below VWAP, hit up against VWAP, and then kind of sold off into the close. So taking a look at the chart, what you'll see is we were weak kind of the first half of the day, but the second half of the day when we were moving up, Apple was green here. If we had closed 123.18, we were probably going to be slightly green. Now we're slightly red right now. We would have been slightly green. So it's not a huge movement either way. But nonetheless, it could have pushed up a little bit, or at least gone down to VWAP instead of being much lower than VWAP. So let's take a look at the daily chart, and the immediate thing is, we're making a higher high and a higher low. So if you guys remember back here, going back to kind of mid-November, 11/13, 11/14 time, for the like 6 or 7 days here, we were making lower highs, which means the high that we were making every day was lower than the day before, which is not a good sign for a stock, That means the stock is falling over the long term. And then for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, we've made higher highs. In a lot of these cases, we've also made a higher low, other than yesterday. If you guys remember, we did not make a higher high, but we did make a higher low. So if you were to draw a line from here to here, we do seem to be kind of uptrending, which is definitely a good sign for the Apple stock. Now, for those of you guys that have been watching me for a while, we were taking a look at this sort of, flag consolidation that was happening for a while, and then this breakout that we were sort of hoping for and anticipating kind of, and thankfully, it happened pretty quickly, happened kind of perfectly actually, and we broke out. And so now we're trying to figure out what happens next with the stock, whether we can push up and eventually, take back this high of 125 that we have set all the way back on October 13th, or if we kind of push down and validate some of the support points that we have set. So let's take a look at both of those. Like I just said, since we are now making a higher high, the high of today is the next level that the stock needs to sort of go against and go over. But so that's the first point, right? 123.78 is the point I'm watching. And then if we scroll back, right, if you just take your line, draw it horizontally, we don't get above it until all the way here, which is 1013, like I said, 125.39, right? And then from that point on, it is 128.84, and then the day before in the 130s where we made the high of Apple for the year. So 123.78 is the first point to watch, since that's today's high. Then it's that 125, then it's that 128 mark. It is going to take a little bit of momentum to get there. Apple has gone up, from the 112s to the 123s in a very short amount of time. It's been like 6 or 7 trading days. So someone who was in the 113, 114s might already be up, 8 to 10%. Profit taking is normal. It's a healthy part of a stock going up. So it's not anything to be really scared of. Consolidation is also good, right? For a stock to go up, 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 up is not healthy. It needs to take a break before it can kind of shoot up again. So on the downside, right, since we are making higher lows every day, the low that we make every day becomes the first point that I'm watching out for. So when the stock was going down today, what I did was, what was yesterday's low point? Yesterday's low point was in 120.89, right? And we talked about that 121.50 level we think could hold up as good support. So my first watch was at 121.50 level. And then if we broke that, it would have been 120.89. Thankfully, we didn't visit the 121.50 level. And our low today was 122.21. So come tomorrow, right, if Apple opens up flat 122.94 where we ended today, and it starts heading down, the first level I'm watching is 122.21, which is the low of today. Then I'm watching that 121.50 level. Then I'm watching the low of yesterday of 120.89. Then the low before that of 120.01, which gets us to the 119 line. And then, you could just do the low of every day before that if we continue to fall at that point. There's also the key indicators that we look at in the moving averages. So I take a look at the 20, 50, and 200-day moving average on the daily chart. 20 and 50 are currently coming in at 118.55 and 116.63. So if the stock does fall, to those levels, again, I think we should see good support there. And then from an EMA perspective, right, one thing that I really like about the Apple stock right now is on the daily chart, the EMAs are stacked, 8, 21, 34, 55, and 89, coming in at 120.21, 118.38, 117.54, 116.03, and 112.41. So, to kind of wrap everything up from a support level perspective, right? The first level that I'm watching for is the low of today, which is 122.21. The next level that I'm watching is at 121.50 level. The next level that I'm watching is yesterday's low of 120.89. Then we've got the 8 EMA at 120.21. Then we've got the day before's low at 120.01. And I know these are a lot of levels, and the stock doesn't have to stop at, magically stop at any one of them. But those are levels to kind of get an understanding of, here is the next level of support, right? So when the stock was dropping today, in my mind, it could go as low as 120.150, because that's our line, and then yesterday's low before it kind of turns around, right? It happened to turn around before that, but mentally that's sort of the theory that I had in mind, is it could go to that level. And that's how trading is. You don't know where it's going to find support or where it's going to find resistance. You can only do your analysis, and the stock will do what it wants to do. Like in today's case, right, S&P was trading fine, Apple was trading fine. We saw a sell-off because of the Pfizer news. Wasn't a great, crazy sell-off, but it was a sell-off regardless, right? It wasn't Apple. It wasn't anything Apple did. It was a whole market ordeal. So, hope you guys found that helpful. Let me know what your trade plans are down in the comment section, and we can chat about it as well. I know some of you guys are in and out of Apple, or you're looking for an entry point in Apple. And if you guys found this video helpful, drop that like and subscribe to my channel if you're new. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. Hope you guys are having an amazing week and staying safe. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.